Chapter 9, Healing Foods, Herbs, and Fungus. Today, after several decades of suppression and neglect, psychedelics are having a renaissance. A new generation of scientists, many of them inspired by their own personal experience of the compounds, are testing their potential to heal mental illnesses such as depression, anxiety, trauma, and addiction. Other scientists are using psychedelics in conjunction with new brain imaging tools to explore the links between brain and mind, hoping to unravel some of the mysteries of consciousness. Michael Pollan from How to Change Your Mind. At the age of 17, I was told that my thyroid wasn't producing thyroid hormone and that I would have to take medication for the rest of my life. This did not sit well with me. When I asked what was causing my body not to be able to produce this hormone on its own, my doctor told me he didn't know. I have found this to be the answer that most physicians give, and they are being very honest. What if it was our crappy inflammatory American diet, heavy metals and chemicals, the uprising of opportunistic pathogens, and serious lack of nutrients that are at the root of thyroid problems and depression? When I took the thyroid medication, I felt better, but I was still never back to normal. Often, medication is a band-aid, and if the underlying issues are not addressed, it will get worse over time. If you have a thyroid issue, things can be done to heal naturally. Many who suffer from hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's thyroiditis feel depressed. In fact, the reason why so many people are depressed is that they have an undiagnosed or underdiagnosed thyroid condition. Hashimoto's thyroiditis is considered an autoimmune condition where the immune system is confused and is attacking the thyroid. This idea has never sat well with me as an explanation for autoimmune conditions. The body is far too intelligent to attack itself. However, your immune system is most likely attacking a pathogen, a virus or a bacteria, that has taken up residence in the thyroid. Anthony William, author of Thyroid Healing, has a very unique view on thyroid issues, indicating that the culprit for most thyroid conditions is the Epstein-Barr virus, otherwise known as EBV, which is the virus implicated in a mononucleosis infection. EBV is a virus in the herpes family of viruses and causes glandular fever. Common symptoms are flu-like, including fever, rash, fatigue, inflamed throat, swollen lymph nodes, and enlarged spleen and liver. It is everywhere and can be implicated in innumerable conditions today. Western medicine is starting to realize that this virus may be the culprit behind many different health conditions today. However, for the meantime, this virus has not been understood or studied enough. Have you had a diagnosed mononucleosis infection? Have you had these flu-like symptoms mentioned above? If so, you may have had an EBV infection. If your thyroid antibodies are elevated, your immune system is doing its job, trying to deal with the pathogen creating inflammation in the thyroid. EBV feeds on heavy metals and heavy chemicals in the body. The average person in the USA today is so toxic and full of metals and chemicals, which is why this virus has gotten so out of control today. My own TSH levels were over 60. They should be between 0.5 and 2. And my thyroid antibodies at one time were over 2,000. Those also should be under 2. I brought them back into normal range with a very specific nutritional protocol, detoxification, and powerful supplements that can cleanse the body and deal with this viral factor. While we haven't spent much time on the role of healing the thyroid in depression, physically speaking, it may be the most critical thing you do to heal from depression. This cannot be understated. 2 books have tremendously shaped how I see thyroid health. One book approaches the thyroid from the best of medical studies that the Western world has to offer. This book is called Hashimoto's Thyroiditis by Dr. Isabel Wentz. These books do not agree on some key issues, but both of them suggest all natural ways to heal. Try one or both, as they are both exceptional books. Liver Qi Stagnation. Most literature in Chinese medicine points in the direction of liver qi stagnation as the first or primary cause of depression, or the most significant factor leading to deeper depression over time. Very simply, depression is stagnation, meaning that something has slowed down and isn't moving very well. In The Practice of Chinese Medicine by Giovanni Macchioccia, he states, in Chinese medicine, stagnation and mental depression are almost synonymous, implying that all depression is due to stagnation. This is obviously not true in practice, as there are many deficiency conditions leading to depression. However, it is true that all emotions, even those that initially deplete qi, lead to qi stagnation. Thus, the first effect of emotional stress is some qi stagnation. While emotions affect the whole body, in the case of qi stagnation, the organ that is most responsible for making sure qi is circulating properly in the body is the liver. The heart and the lungs also are affected by qi stagnation, but not as frequently as the liver. The main pathological emotion of the liver is anger, and all of its subsets such as resentment, frustration, annoyance, hatred, rage, and fury. This is one of the main reasons that when I see people with depression in the clinic, my first question often is, what are you most angry about in life? The consciousness aspects of the liver have to do with inspiration, creativity, ideas, plans, life dreams, and aspirations. When liver qi is stagnant, these aspects in life suffer. As the health of the liver improves, all of these aspects start coming to life again. In Chinese medicine, several factors contribute to stagnation or depression, including an irregular diet, overwork, and constitutional weaknesses. In the diet, the bad foods we already discussed create inflammation and lead to the body producing phlegm. Phlegm is gooey, sticky, and slows things down. These things lead to qi stagnation. When the body is overworked, it can eventually lead to deficiencies in the kidneys, which are the organs responsible for providing us with willpower or the drive to engage fully in the world. Constitutional weaknesses may refer to general genetic predispositions that have been present since birth, or general weaknesses that present themselves with the onset of depression. 12 different patterns related to depression are found in The Practice of Chinese Medicine by Giovanni Maciocia. Western medicine has led us into a one-pill-fits-all mentality. This is not at all like Chinese medicine. Depression can be treated dozens of different ways because one person may have one pattern and someone else has a completely different pattern. Yet both are depressed. Patterns are treated very differently. Chinese medicine takes into account your specific individuality. Therefore, out on the street when meeting people, I frequently get asked, "Hey, what should I take for blank health condition?" My normal answer truthfully is, I have no idea. This isn't because I don't have adequate responses, but I would have to explore one's health history to see what the pattern is and then treat the pattern accordingly. In each pattern, we can determine the emotions contributing to the problem and the organ or organs most affected by the condition. Next, you can use diet, herbal medicine, acupuncture, massage, and forms of meditation to release emotions from your body. We form a treatment plan specifically designed for you and your pattern. This is what makes Chinese medicine so brilliant not only for depression, but for any condition with which one struggles. It is a complete system of medicine, and any symptoms people have fall into patterns that have been treatable for thousands of years. The 12 most common patterns related to depression in Chinese medicine are liver qi stagnation, heart and lung qi stagnation, stagnant liver qi turning into heat, phlegm heat harassing the mind, blood stasis obstructing the mind, qi stagnation with phlegm, diaphragm heat, worry injuring the mind, heart and spleen deficiency, heart yang deficiency, kidney and heart yin deficiency, empty heat blazing kidney yang deficiency. Each of these patterns presents with different symptoms. Depression can uniquely be a part of each of these patterns. Food in Chinese medicine for reducing stagnation. In Chinese medicine, certain foods can help reduce excesses or stagnation in the liver. Food is a powerful ally when dealing with stagnation. Stagnation, at least initially, is seen as an excess. It may turn into a deficiency over long periods of time, and then an entirely different group of foods will need to be consumed. Therefore, if you have a question as to whether these foods would help you, consult with an acupuncturist or Chinese medical doctor. Due to negative emotions, especially anger, toxins, nutritional deficiencies, the liver can run hot and get inflamed. The foods below are some of the things that can help the liver. Foods that calm and soothe the liver, reduce excess, and stimulate the liver out of stagnancy are vegetables, legumes such as beans and lentils, sprouted foods, raw organic unfiltered honey mixed with lemon juice, citrus peel, romaine lettuce, asparagus, alfalfa, chamomile tea, amaranth, quinoa, onions, garlic, leeks, scallions, chives, watercress, mustard greens, ginger, black pepper, horseradish, turmeric, basil, bay leaf, marjoram, cumin, fennel, dill, rosemary, mint, and lemon balm. Acupuncture for reducing stagnation in Chinese medicine. All of the above mentioned 12 patterns have various acupoints that are specific in dealing with each of those patterns. Acupuncture also has an amazing ability to decrease inflammation in the body. Many points on the body not only treat specific organs, but also soothe stagnation, release heat, reduce phlegm, strengthen deficiency, and calm the mind. While these points will not be discussed here, I highly encourage you to try acupuncture if you are battling with depression. It may not be the final answer for you, but most likely it will very positively contribute to your feeling better. Herbal medicine for reducing stagnation in Chinese medicine. Herbs have been used for thousands of years around the world as the world's first pharmaceuticals. Multiple herbal formulas exist for all 12 patterns that can be extremely beneficial in dealing with depression. I am convinced that formulas used beyond 50 years ago were experienced more powerfully than today. This is not because the herbs are any less powerful, but because health is so much worse in the United States today than it has ever been. We have never had so much excess from sugar, dairy, and genetically modified, pesticide-laden wheat products. These excesses are far more pronounced than they were 50 years ago. Herbal formulas need to be used for longer, and especially in combination with detoxification and other serious lifestyle changes to help people heal most effectively. The most wonderful part about properly prescribed foods, acupoints, and herbal formula is zero or a very minimal side effects. Over 100,000 people die each year from properly prescribed pharmaceutical medications. Millions of other people feel powerful side effects from the medications they take on a daily basis. Unless it is a life-saving medication like insulin, Chinese herbs exist for virtually every health problem known to man. Even in the case of type 1 diabetes requiring insulin with proper diet and lifestyle modifications, Dr. Gabriel Cousens, MD, has proven that even the need for insulin can be reversed and the patient healed. When truly healthy, the body has the potential of producing insulin on its own again. I never advise my patients to come off medications, as this is a violation of my scope of practice. However, when some become truly healthy, the need for medication can diminish or disappear for many people. Meditation for depression in Chinese medicine. Historically, one of the primary ways used by Chinese medical doctors to help deal with emotions in the mind was through meditation. Tapping and other consciousness-based tools expand upon this practice and make it even better and more direct in dealing with the health problem. Full Catastrophe Living by Dr. John Kabat-Zinn is the modern Bible with regards to meditation. In this book, hundreds of studies are cited as evidence from a scientific perspective that meditation has a profound and lasting effect on helping people feel better. As a part of his work, he has recorded many guided meditations which you can purchase, listen to, and follow along with. These guided meditations will teach you how to meditate. I highly recommend them. The guided meditations of Kelly Howell are also very useful. The benefit of psychedelics. Psilocybin, the psychoactive component found in over 200 species of mushrooms, is now being hailed to be for psychiatry and mental illness what antibiotics were for medicine. Psilocybin, along with LSD, peyote, ayahuasca, iboga, and DMT, are also known as psychedelics. The word psychedelic means mind manifesting. Another term that is frequently used when describing these substances is an entheogen. Entheogen is a term that means bringing forth the divine within, and has been used due to how powerful and life-changing experiences are with these substances and the ability they have to affect mystical, spiritual experiences. In 1962, Walter Pankey, a minister and psychiatrist, set up an experiment using psilocybin that would be later called the March Chapel Experiment. This experiment was run at the Harvard Divinity School, and almost all of the participants were graduate divinity students. One of the participants, Hudson Smith, described his experience as the most powerful cosmic homecoming I have ever experienced. In a 25-year follow-up to this experiment, all subjects described it as a genuine mystical nature and characterize it as one of the high points of their spiritual life. How psychedelics are able to offer life-changing experiences users describe is not completely clear yet to science. However, new research is pointing the way into our experience of something that has been called our default mode network, a group of areas in the brain that seem to show lower levels of activity when we are engaged in a particular task like paying attention, but higher levels of activity when we are awake and not involved in any specific mental exercise. It is the part of us that is commonly referred to as our ego. Our ego is essentially a survival mechanism that evolved over time to keep us alive. However, if we take the standpoint from a more spiritual perspective that actual death and life are not possibilities and that we are always, then as awareness and consciousness increase, less of a need for ego exists. Having said this, psychedelics have been proven to turn down the use of this default mode network and expand the areas of the brain related to consciousness itself. Thus, many users have reported experiencing extreme feelings of love, joy, peace, and oneness with everyone and everything. It could be the default mode network that is too active in the brain with those struggling with depression, which is why science is proving how effective it is, even if done one time for someone struggling with this health issue. The following study demonstrates how remarkable, long-lasting, and relieving psychedelics can be at relieving those with depression. At Johns Hopkins University in the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences, research is being conducted on helping late-stage cancer patients deal with depression and anxiety by using psilocybin. In a study of 51 patients that were given a single large dose of psilocybin, in a 6-month follow-up, 80% showed significant decreases in both anxiety and depression, with 60% going back into normal range. Of the participants, 70% rated this one experience as being in their all-time top 5 most spiritual experiences. Results of this were published in the Journal of Psychopharmacology. Can you imagine 60% of people having all their depression and anxiety go away with one single experience? Another study of 29 patients with depression and anxiety were given psilocybin, and the results speak volumes about the effectiveness of this substance in helping people deal with this issue. Psilocybin produced immediate, substantial, and sustained improvements in anxiety and depression and led to decreases in cancer-related demoralization and hopelessness, improved spiritual well-being, and increased quality of life. At the 6.5-month follow-up, psilocybin was associated with enduring anxiolytic and antidepressant effects. Approximately 60 to 80% of participants continued with clinically significant reductions in depression or anxiety, sustained benefits in existential distress and quality of life, as well as improved attitudes towards death. The psilocybin-induced mystical experience mediated the therapeutic effect of psilocybin on anxiety and depression. In other studies, participants reported that consumption of LSD in the right set and setting was found to be one of the most profound and life-changing spiritual experiences they have ever had. Many others who have ventured to Peru and to participate in an ayahuasca ceremony report very similar radical life-changing experiences. Ayahuasca is a visionary psychedelic decoction that has been used in Peru for thousands of years and is protected because it is part of a long religious tradition. When done in the right set and setting, ayahuasca is very safe. I have spoken to many people that have had similar radical life-altering experiences with this substance. In one such case, in December of 2017, I spoke to a woman who had just completed her second ayahuasca experience. I asked her how her first experience was, and her response was characteristic of many people I have asked about this. She said, "It is indescribable, really. I can't begin to tell you what it is like because words would fall short of being able to tell you. However, I can tell you what effect it had on me. She went on to say that she had been a hopeless heroin addict for the past 10 years. She took the ayahuasca, and after one night, she never touched heroin ever again. She said she felt so much love from the universe, what she referred to as God, realizing that this was no different from the essence of who and what she was. In other words, love is what healed her from this addiction. LSD, magic mushrooms, and psilocybins are categorized as Schedule I drugs, which are those that are found to be highly addictive and have no medicinal value. I think the pharmaceutical companies saw how powerful and effective these substances were and knew that they couldn't make profit from them, so they decided to lobby against them, making them illegal. Imagine taking one dose and having an experience that was so powerful that the depression and anxiety you had lessened significantly or disappeared completely. If so, that wouldn't be good for these companies' businesses and wouldn't force people to take drugs for years or even an entire lifetime. Although psychedelics are wonderful, it is very important to use them wisely. In the Psychedelic Explorer's Guidebook, written by psychologist James Fadiman, he mentions that set and setting are the most important aspects to have before beginning a psychedelic journey. What this translates to is being with people that you explicitly trust, who will take care of your every need lovingly in a very safe environment with minimal to no distractions. It also means using the substances with soothing and inspiring music, such as classical music. In cases where people were confronted with fears or challenges, someone was there to help them to let go of the resistance to the experience. It is when these conditions are not present that people can have bad experiences. Having the proper dose is also critical due to the intensity that the experience can afford someone. Many people panic, become anxious, confused, and disoriented. It is also not recommended for those with existing psychosis, such as those with schizophrenia. Psychedelics, such as magic mushrooms, have been used in very sacred settings in people groups all over the world for millennia. It is suggested that they be approached with reverence and seen in a sacred light due to how transformative they can be. Just as people are waking up to how incredibly medicinal and effective marijuana can be in various forms for many health conditions, many are discovering how powerful magic mushrooms, LSD, or other psychedelics can be in helping alleviate not only depression and anxiety, but also other health challenges. Just as alcohol and marijuana need to be consumed responsibly, so also should mushrooms be used responsibly. As of July 2021, it is still illegal to consume magic mushrooms or psilocybin and LSD. Ayahuasca is legal to consume in various parts of the United States for religious purposes or abroad in places like Peru or Costa Rica. What is presented above is simply informational and is not meant as an encouragement to break the law. However, people suffering from depression want help, answers, and solutions that work. The evidence from recent research shows how powerful these substances are when used responsibly. Additionally, many thousands of people have tried it recreationally state emphatically how wonderful it is when dealing with depression. You can make a difference by writing to your local politicians and raising awareness about how beneficial these things can be. Recently, November 2020, Oregon was the first state in the USA to decriminalize psychedelics and grant therapists the ability to use these substances in a therapeutic environment legally. Kratom. Kratom is a very special supplement that has some remarkable uses. It comes from a tropical evergreen tree that is in the coffee family. The leaves of the tree are commonly dried and ground into a powder, taken in powder form, encapsulated, or consumed as a tea. It has four main effects that include inducing relaxation, relieving pain, enhancing mood, and stimulating. Certain strains of Kratom are more powerful with one or more of these qualities but lack the others. Many people are drawn to Kratom because of its wonderful ability to relieve pain. So many people in this world are in physical pain. I believe fervently that much of the physical pain we see actually has an emotional root that most don't know how to delve into and let go. However, for those that are still holding on to their emotional pain and still need relief without the addictive potential of opiates, Kratom is wonderful. It is a wonderful herb, but in many cases, it still is just a Band-Aid. It needs to continue to be used to be effective. One study has shown that Kratom does enhance mood and relieve anxiety in some people, while also stating that it is a wonderful alternative for those who have struggled with opioid addiction and has the potential to be mildly addictive. It is something that should be used responsibly. In the case of depression, certain strains exist that are mood enhancing and stimulating, giving people a very mild euphoric feel-good sensation. For the person with depression who is trying to feel better while simultaneously working on other issues to get to the root of the problem, this herb can be very useful. Kratom was recently in the news because the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration, wanted to make it into a Schedule I drug. A Schedule I drug is labeled this way because it is said to have no medicinal benefits and is highly addictive. This is beyond ridiculous. Remember, marijuana and magic mushrooms are also Schedule I drugs, and they are not addictive. In fact, even though on a federal level, as of May 2019, marijuana is still a Schedule I drug, many people throughout the USA have realized how wonderful and powerful the uses of marijuana and hemp are to help people heal. The same is happening with magic mushrooms. It is highly medicinal, and both have incredible benefits and are not addictive. While the DEA pushed for Kratom to be made a Schedule I drug, thousands of people revolted and sent a petition to the White House in protest. The DEA completely backed off because people reacted, stating that this was invaluable in helping them deal with their physical pain. It has also been indispensable in helping people wean off of heroin and opioid addictions. This was back in 2016, and now, almost a year later, the FDA is making the same push to label it a Schedule I drug. It has been reported that it has been responsible for over 36 deaths. This is complete nonsense, and it is amazing to see how far our government will go to protect pharmaceutical interests. Kratom is dirt cheap, works fabulously, and helps millions of people. These millions of people may not be pharmaceutical customers, so heavy lobbying and pressure have been made to make it illegal. I feel the data is being manipulated about it being unsafe, and the FDA is not protecting the interests of the people at all. I think they are completely catering to the greedy hands of the pharmaceutical industry. If you are in pain, want a safe energy boost, or are just feeling a little blue, give Kratom a try. Much information is out there on the internet about where it can be purchased, which strains should be taken for the desired effect, and how much to consume.